ASUS have made some big changes to their gaming laptop lineup this year, and they've sponsored this video at CES 2025 so I can check it all out. The big changes in 2025 start with their ROG Strix Scar 16 and Scar 18, their most powerful gaming laptops. This has to be the endgame of the RGB light bar. ASUS have finally done it. 360 degrees of light bar surround the entire laptop now, with what they're calling full surround aura RGB. It looks kinda weird if you're just looking at it from underneath, but with it sitting normally on a desk, it's actually kinda cool. The underglow effect without any gaps looks nice. Okay, but actually seriously, I think the coolest thing is that upgrades get easier with the new magnetic latch found underneath. Just press and slide to quickly get access to the 2 PCIe Gen 5 M.2 storage slots and 2 RAM slots without any tools. Very nice. The SSD slots both use ASUS's Q-latch design from their motherboards. Basically, these replace screws, making SSD swaps quicker and easier. Wi-Fi is still upgradable, but that needs tools. And you can still disconnect the battery for upgrades too. Oh, and with the upgrade panel, if you accidentally take the bottom off without shutting down the laptop, it'll automatically shut itself down, which is a good safety feature so you don't start taking out the SSD while the laptop's still running. The new metal lid has a light-up design they're calling Anime Vision. It's similar to what they had with the 2023 Zephyrus G14. Basically, there are thousands of holes and hundreds of LED lights, which allow you to customize how it looks through software. For specs, the new Scar series has up to Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX processor and NVIDIA RTX 5090 graphics. That goes for both the 16 and 18-inch versions, and both still have mini LED screen options too. But there's a new anti-reflective coating that helps reduce reflections by 55% while boosting contrast by 4.5 times. It's called Ambient Contrast Ratio, or ACR, but unfortunately they didn't have a demo with and without it for us to compare. The port layout is similar to the older version, but with some nice improvements. The older Scar had air exhaust vents on the left and right sides towards the back, which pushed the ports further to the front, but now the newer version has ports closer to the back, meaning cables are more likely to stay out of your way. On the left from the back, we've got the power input, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port, 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports with DisplayPort output and charging support, followed by 3.5mm audio combo jack. The right just has 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports. And we can also see small air intake vents on the sides too. All Scar models now have vapor chamber coolers, regardless of the specs inside. The back is still all air exhaust vents, just like last year, but ASUS says turbo mode is now 3 decibels quieter with the new design. Although the display's bezels are thinner now, they've still upgraded the camera from 720p last year to 1080p this year. The speakers have been upgraded in both the 16 and 18-inch models too, but we weren't able to test them on the loud showroom floor. Otherwise, the touchpad is 36% larger, and Wi-Fi has been updated to the latest Wi-Fi 7, up from 6E in last year's model. Just underneath ASUS's top-end ROG Strix Scar series is the ROG Strix series. Again, both in 16 and 18-inch versions. These fresh designs max out with Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX processor and NVIDIA RTX 5080 graphics. So no RTX 5090 like the higher-end Scar, but still extremely capable when it comes to gaming. They're also missing a few extra features, but that's what makes them less expensive compared to the Scar. It's good to have options. The new Strix G16 and G18 have the option to have the lid lighting like the Scar, or not, but they still get the full surround aura RGB lighting. They also don't have a mini LED screen option, but those seem to be the main differences. And the screen it does have is still great. The new Strix G16 and G18 still get Thunderbolt 5, a 1080p camera, the 36% larger touchpad, Wi-Fi 7, and the easy upgrade access, just like the Scar. So still plenty of nice improvements compared to last gen. But last year's 2024 chassis design of the Strix G16 and G18 isn't going anywhere. It'll stay around, but now with AMD's next-gen Ryzen processors. Last year they were Intel only. These will have AMD's latest Zen 5 based Fire Range processors. So 16 cores, 32 threads, and up to 144 megabytes of cache with the top-end Ryzen 9 9955HX3D with AMD's 3D V-cache, or the 9955HX without the extra cache. Based on the improvements we've seen from AMD's Zen 5 with 3D V-cache on the desktop side already, this thing should be an absolute beast. I'm gonna test it out as soon as I can. Make sure you're subscribed. That said, the graphics maxes out with the RTX 5070 Ti. I was hoping we'd have the option of maxed out graphics for those that want an all-out AMD gaming laptop. I mean, the 5070 Ti certainly sounds more than capable, but still, it also would have been nice to have these AMD versions in the newer 2025 chassis design. At least one of the PCIe slots supports the latest Gen 5 if you want faster storage, and the screen gets the new finish for increasing contrast ratio and reducing screen reflection, just like the Scar. But that's not all. ASUS have also refreshed their popular Zephyrus G14. It looks the same on the outside, but it's got a bunch of awesome changes inside, including up to AMD's latest Ryzen AI 9 370HX processor, and up to Nvidia's RTX 5080 graphics. Based on my own testing, this newer Zen 5 processor is 31% faster when it comes to multi-core performance, and 14% faster in single core. So that's going to be a nice improvement for the 2025 G14. The G14 still uses onboard memory, but it goes up to 64 gigs of LPDDR5X 7500, so up to double the memory capacity compared to last year's G14, while also being faster too. Last year's G14 maxed out with a 90-watt GPU power limit, but now this year ASUS have boosted it up to 110 watts, so that's a nice bonus. To do that, they've made a slightly thicker version of the G14 to accommodate the RTX 5070 Ti and RTX 5080 GPUs, while the 5070 and below should be the same as before. The new G14 also gets an upgrade to the latest Wi-Fi 7 from last year's older 6E, and the 2025 model also adds charging over Type-C to the port on the right, so it's available on both sides now instead of only the left. A nice little quality of life update. The bigger Zephyrus G16 also gets some nice upgrades this year too, and that goes for both the Intel and AMD versions. Again, like the smaller G14, we've still got the same metal design and OLED screen with G-Sync. Let's start with the Intel model. It gets up to the Intel Core Ultra 9 285H CPU and Nvidia RTX 5090 graphics. Definitely crazy stuff, but I believe the GPU is power limited to 115 watts, so not the full 175 watts found in thicker gaming laptops with more cooling. But I mean, that's fair considering the Zephyrus G16 was the lightest 16-inch gaming laptop I've ever tested. This year's Intel-based G16 boosts the memory capacity from 32 gigs up to 64 gigs in some regions. A nice option as you can't upgrade it later, so having the option to buy it with more is welcome. The AMD version, on the other hand, still maxes out at 32 gigs. Just like last year, and it also tops out with RTX 5070 graphics, meaning you'll have to go for Intel if you want more GPU performance or more RAM. But the AMD version gets an upgrade to the SD card slot. It's using SD Express 7.0, which should be at least 2 to 3 times faster as it uses PCIe. Nice for creators. And both the Intel and AMD versions of the 2025 Zephyrus G16 get updated to the latest Wi-Fi 7 too. Up next, ASUS's Flow Z13 is making a comeback this year. It wasn't refreshed in 2024. So in case you forgot, this is their 13-inch tablet design with detachable keyboard. But what makes this thing even more special now is that it's using AMD's new Strix Halo processors. So up to the Ryzen AI Max Plus 395, AMD's top-end chip from this series with 40 RDNA 3.5 graphics cores. If you didn't see my video covering AMD, we're talking about a crazy level of power from these integrated graphics, possibly close to RTX 4060 or 4070 tier performance. It's still using onboard memory, but instead of being limited to just 16 gigs of LPDDR5 5200 or 32 gigs in the special special limited edition acronym version, the new Z13 has 32, 64, and even 128 options with faster LPDDR5X 8000. A crazy improvement, and up to 96GB can be assigned to the integrated graphics. The Z13 is super slim, yet super powerful for its size. The glass touchscreen has a faster 180Hz refresh rate now, up from 165Hz in the older model, which should mean slightly smoother gameplay. The battery also gets a nice upgrade too, with a larger 70Wh capacity, a 25% increase compared to last gen's 56Wh battery. And like all the other ASUS gaming laptops, it gets updated to the latest Wi-Fi 7 too, and there's more speakers as well, 4 this year compared to 2 last gen. It's got way more ports this year too, with the left side having 2 USB 4 Type-C ports, HDMI 2.1, which wasn't available in the last gen Z13, a dedicated power input instead of wasting one of the 2 Type-C ports, and the micro SD card slot isn't hidden under the rear stand anymore. There's also easy access to the M.2 slot behind the kickstand. The right has a 3.5mm audio combo jack and USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A port, as well as the power button, volume key, and action key that opens shortcuts, helping accessibility in tablet mode. The touchpad is 44% larger now, with 12% larger keycaps too, which just make it feel easier to interact with, despite it only being a 13-inch device. The keyboard still has the same 1.7mm of key travel, but it's made out of synthetic leather now, instead of the previous microfiber material, which feels more comfortable and is meant to be easier to clean. But what took ASUS's Flow series to the next level in the past was ASUS's XG Mobile, which is basically a more powerful laptop GPU inside a little box that you attach to the laptop via their proprietary connection. And this port used direct PCIe, making it faster compared to competing Thunderbolt 4 options. Well, Thunderbolt 5 is here now, so it's time for the XG Mobile to evolve. And yes, this means the new XG Mobile can now be used with any laptop with Thunderbolt, or even USB 4. It's no longer limited to being used with ASUS's laptops that had the special port. Thunderbolt 5 is backwards compatible with Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4, which is how it would work with the new Flow Z13, as that has USB 4. But yeah, I don't think that would work quite as well compared to Thunderbolt 5, as Thunderbolt 5 has lots more bandwidth available. In any case, I think this is still awesome, as it means you can use ASUS's XG Mobile with so many more laptops. Having a small and actually portable eGPU option that you can dock on way more laptops is just a great option to have. The new XG Mobile is available with either Nvidia's RTX 5090 or 5070 Ti laptop GPU, and it's full powered too, with up to 150 watts plus 25 watts of dynamic boost for the 5090. The new design looks awesome. I like the translucent finish. The newer version weighs 25% less and is 18% smaller too, making it more portable than ever before. But despite that, the new XG Mobile is 3 decibels quieter when it comes to fan noise, thanks to the improved cooling design with its vapor chamber. Otherwise, just like before, the XG Mobile also acts as a full dock. It's got 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports, one for connecting to the laptop, which should be enough to also power and charge the Z13, but I didn't get solid confirmation on that. There's a 5GB Ethernet port, HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 2.1, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A ports, and a UHS 2 SD card reader on top. Oh, and let's not forget the customizable RGB logo. But what about ASUS's more budget-friendly TUF series? Not everyone has RTX 5090 money. Don't worry, they haven't gone anywhere. And I'm told that updates will be coming later once Nvidia's lower-end GPUs are here. It's just that Nvidia is starting at the higher end first. I can't wait to review all of these new laptops. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to know about more of these new 2025 gaming laptops, check out the rest of my CES coverage. I'll see you in one of those videos next.